Welcome back to Morning in America. We are following breaking news out of Buckingham Palace.
Doctors are concerned about Queen Elizabeth's health, and Nick Smith is here with more. Nick.
Adrienne, Mitch, I don't need to tell you guys that everyone is watching this story. Buckingham Palace has announced in just the last hour that Queen Elizabeth is under medical supervision. The statement says she remains comfortable. The 96-year-old is at her Balmoral castle in Scotland, where she often spends her time in the summer. Her health has been deteriorating throughout the year, forcing her to limit her usually busy schedule. A clear sign of her limited mobility came just yesterday when Prime Minister Liz Truss and former Prime Minister Boris Johnson had to travel to Scotland to initiate the transfer of power. It was the first time in her 70-year reign she appointed a new head of government anywhere other than Buckingham Palace. Prime Minister Truss tweeted about the Queen's health just moments ago. She wrote, quote, "The whole country will be deeply concerned by the news from Buckingham Palace this lunchtime. My thoughts and the thoughts of the people across our United Kingdom are with Her Majesty the Queen and her entire family at this time." Now, Prince Charles is reportedly with the Queen right now, and Prince William, the Duke of Cambridge, is on his way. Adrienne, Mitch.
All right, thank you very much, Nick. I want to bring in Niall Stanage, associate editor of The Hill. Niall, how unusual is a statement like this from Buckingham Palace?
It's very unusual. The British royal family generally does not disclose very much about the health of the Queen or any of its other senior members. So this is obviously a source of concern. It's a very dramatic story, and when this statement was first released, the British House of Commons was in session. There were apparently pieces of paper being passed around the benches of the Commons. I don't believe Prime Minister Truss was present, but Keir Starmer, the leader of the opposition, hurriedly leaving the House of Commons chamber. So clearly a dramatic moment here.
And there is a new report that says Prince Charles and Camilla have already arrived at Balmoral Castle. What else are we learning about the royal family?
So that's right. That's the reports that we're getting at the moment. Balmoral Castle, about 50 miles west of Aberdeen in Scotland, the country retreat for the British monarch. And we are learning that Prince William, better known as the Duke of Cambridge, is also on his way there to apparently see the Queen. So obviously there is very serious concern. That's why people are making that trip. But we don't know a whole lot beyond the official statement, obviously, about the specifics of the Queen's condition right now.
And we know that she's had some medical issues over the past several months, mobility issues usually being cited. What do we know about any past hospital visits or medical history?
So what we know is that obviously she's a 96-year-old woman, but in terms of the specific issues that are arising, those first came to light, I would say, in last October. She was due to make a trip to my native Northern Ireland and cancelled that at the very last moment for not really very clearly explained reasons. There was later information that she had spent one night in hospital. It was obviously her platinum jubilee, marking 70 years of her monarchy earlier this year. And she is clearly frail, but again, the specifics haven't really been given out. The obvious manifestation of whatever difficulties she is experiencing are in mobility issues. She's clearly finding it quite difficult to get around.
Right, but for them to announce this, I know that they've canceled a number of her public events, but for them, as you mentioned at the top of this chat with me, to make it news and to release a statement is quite telling, wouldn't you say?
I would absolutely say that, and quite ominous, I think, for a figure that has been such a obviously central component, not just of British life, but of international life for a very long time. Just briefly to note her longevity on the throne, Adrienne, Queen Elizabeth has met every American president, barring Lyndon Johnson, since Harry Truman. So that is a fairly clear indicator of just how long she's been a part of the international scene for.
There's no one like her. And I remember a day when I said, you know, one day my dream is to meet the Queen and interview her. I'm sure there are a lot of people who are holding her and the family and their thoughts and prayers. Niall, thank you so much for being with us.
Thanks, Adrienne.
Adrienne, I was just thinking to myself, we've never seen this in our lifetimes, but it just occurred to me, 1952. My parents have never seen this in their lifetime.
Yeah.
That's how crazy that is. She's been on the throne for a long, long time. So I hope she can get better.
One of the most pivotal figures in the world's history. This young woman who rose to queen and has been there, even in spite of her own husband's passing. It's pretty remarkable. What a life, what a heart to serve.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.